Hi there, welcome everybody to the Bruce Sees All Research Channel. Here we do real research. These are my images of deep space, 2016, 2015, before I even started the channel. This is the constellation of Lyra, filled with beautiful suns larger than the sun in our solar system. Here, magnificent stars upon stars upon stars. These are all images that I took. Here's the nebulae. We're going to go see the Great Orion Nebulae, seen here wintertime from Montreal. The beautiful green colors. In the States, in California, I have friends that tell me the nebulae is red. It's absolutely beautiful. It looks like a big cabbage with eyes, quite simply. And when you start zooming up on this object, I started freaking out. It looks like it's alive, okay? I'm telling you, the nebulae, it looks like a creature, right? When you look at it and really examine it. These are all the stars in Lyra. I took all the stars to examine them, to learn the names of them, to understand the colors, to understand how NASA understands their sizes, the magnitudes, etc. And then I started sharing a whole bunch of things on the moon, and I found out an incredible secret. This is sort of a story for the ones maybe just arriving to the channel. To understand what I do here, I have a 14-inch telescope, many infrared cameras now. I have a lot of support in the community. If you want to join the community, leave your opinions. Absolutely free. Come and join the community. Look at this, looking at real star images that I took, magnified up without any tampering from NASA. And speaking of tampering, let's go see the surface of the moon. I'm going to go show you vehicles on the moon. We're not going to call them UFOs this time. I'm going to do a little change. And we're going to talk about the possibility of vehicles in the atmosphere of the moon that have propellants, probably, okay? I capture hundreds of incidents where we see objects going down to the surface, and they have what looks like a controlled descent. And also, yes, here there's a fire and smoke at the back of the object that left the UFO that's at the right there that you see, that's floating and hovering on the surface. There are UFOs on the surface, and the vehicles and anomalies and phenomena that I'm going to show you right now has not been documented by anybody else on the moon, and it's important that the information is seen by many, many people, is what I would have liked. So that's a fire on the moon, a controlled descent going down to the surface. I show these objects way too fast. Look at the object that's spreading smoke. So now here, these have either propellants or they're hiding the surface of the moon by applying a thick smoke screen to hide the surface movement and activity. If there's more activity, what I believe in one day in Mare Fecunditatis, they're going to have the smokers there, and they'll be smoking the surface so that no activity is seen. Either they're hiding from Earth and or other galaxies, is what I believe. One person away from 80,000, my friends. It's been 2 days. Oh my gosh, you gotta laugh at that. So, I'm showing you a vehicle in the atmosphere of the moon that is either applying smoke, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of smoke coming from this object. Okay? Like, you see vapor and smoke or whatever all the way around it. And if it's not vapor, they're actually clouding the surface. And you can see underneath this vehicle, because that's exactly what it is. We can see a shape. Oh yeah. Whether it looks square or something, it doesn't look like a plane. We can confirm that it doesn't have wings. But look at the activity. There's even another one coming into the frame on the bottom underneath the smoke there that I didn't even mention. You know? And you see that it's hiding the structuring on the surface. It's hiding everything. And there has to be many, many, many people, putting this layer of smoke around Earth to hide certain areas of Earth. And, it makes sense when you think of it. And I'm not necessarily saying that they're chemtrails. Here on Earth, maybe, for whatever the reason, right? Geoengineering, I get it. It exists, so they say. Can they put poisons in it? Sure. We'll probably never know. It's speculation, it's theory. But this is not theory. This is a vehicle that is flying with smoke coming out of it on the moon. It has nothing to do with the UFO phenomena. It's not related to it at all. It doesn't look like a biological creature, yet it could be anyways. But again, in the atmosphere of the moon, there's smoke right there, and I'm proving it to you. You see the object without smoke, you see the object completely entirely smoked, and then the object starts drifting to the right, and obviously the smoke trail out to the left. That's a confirmation we're on the moon. You don't need Pentagon or Navy intelligence or Luis Elizondo to confirm that there are UFOs on the moon. I think they pretty much already have with everything they've been telling us. This should be on the news, and there's no reason that all the UFO seekers should not be ecstatic for me having found this on the moon, because there's someone up there. This is not a NASA video of 60 years ago, my friends. Let's get even more serious. This is not just one finding. I'm telling you, these lights that light up on the surface, I said it 4 years ago that I started seeing clouds on the moon, and these objects are lighting up the surface and causing an amazing puff of smoke that's around it. Whether the smoke's emanating from these objects to cover the surface, most likely I'm really starting to believe it now. We got smokes here on Earth at night. 8 or 9 planes go by, and they're hiding UFOs, obviously, or they're doing what Bill Gates said, spreading that chalk around the world to be able to mimic a volcano, if you want. Let me tell you, it's the UFOs that they're hiding. So get this. Imagine if the UFOs, and they think it's China, but they're trying to hide the surface so that China doesn't take effing pictures of nuclear facilities, of military bases, here in Canada even. Who says they're not here? They're probably doing that in the States. Oh, look at this. Isn't that scary? Looks like they're coming down to Earth. At one point, things got really crazy outside before everything stopped for 4 months. And look at the difference. Here's a plane going by that you see it's not a chemtrail, and it's not as thick as the one that I just showed you. So again, back on the moon, how many different vehicles have I showed you letting off gases or that have smokes or carburants in them or whatever? This one definitely looks like a creature or something, but still smoke is coming off of it as it's traveling over the surface, and that's a pattern. That's a specific thing that almost everything that I'm capturing is showing me. So here on Earth, there's blinding surfaces for anyone outside of Earth for sure. Look at this. If you can't see outside of Earth, you're not going to see inside of Earth. So imagine how many places they are spraying around Earth to hide. Obviously, if there's more UFOs in one location, they could go and spray in one location. And there's smokes coming out of the bloody crater on the moon. Here's another creature or something flailing around inside of the atmosphere of the moon, which you see many smokes. And very often underneath those smokes, you see the surface objects, structures, or 90-degree angles appear. I've showed it many a times. Look, there's a dark object going towards this object. Now, this is on the moon, by the way. It's not bullcrap there. We are on the moon, and we can see an object bringing down the exposure, flipping the exposure over so we can see the object dark, and more of the clouds on the surface. Hey, check this out, y'all. Here's a really cool one. It looks like a boat, right? Inside of a crater. Well, now, of course, if you want to talk about pareidolia, this is the best example. Yes, obviously, it's probably not a boat, and maybe not even something V-shaped, but with the light around it, it's giving us the impression that it is. And now, it always goes both ways. It could actually be a bloody arc, or it isn't. I mean, that's just the way it is. That way, we're sure that it is or not a boat. Look at the structures. Why do you think UFOs are on the moon, my good friends? Look in the center. Check it out. Look how everything's connected. If you all think that, I know you guys don't, but the trolls do, or they like to pretend that it's not real. If you think that that's not real, you're going to have a rude awakening when they talk about it in disclosure one day, because they will. I don't know when, but they definitely will. This is the surface of the moon, and you could see setups even here all the layers. You can see it looks like a graph paper where lines and 90-degree angles are meeting. And if you or any one of you think that circle in the center right here is a crater, there's a serious problem. There's nothing. It's elevated over the surface, a perfect symmetrical circle. Imagine flashes of lights on the surface. Showed that before too, but not just flashes of lights. We see smokes and hazes around these flashes. Look at the smoke, the puff of smoke that remains there after this object dims down. So we have all these theories. We're seeing lights on the surface. It could be propulsion from, a gas, a diesel vehicle, right? Well, okay. In general, this one doesn't look like a gas vehicle. It doesn't look like a vehicle at all. It looks like a frequency or a energy or a laser beam. I don't know what to call it. UFO. We could call it many things, but still, it's a light on the surface traveling in a straight path, but not along anything. It doesn't look like it's on a track or anything. Yet it's appearing and disappearing. And when it disappears, you see a massive, a puff of smoke that remains, and look at it illuminating the surface. I'm going forward and backwards to show you that it's not me lifting and descending the exposure either. This one, absolutely my favorite. About 15 of them that I caught. You know what they look like? You know what they remind me of? They flail around like birds. Obviously there are no birds, but look at that gas, and it is a fluorescent. There's a chemical reaction that is occurring with this object as it's traveling through the atmosphere on the moon. Whatever it may be, look closely and you'll see the yellow coming from it. That's a chemical reaction, ladies and gents. That's what we're seeing. And look at it, the way it takes off. It looks like a bug, right? Except the problem is there's no bugs under the atmosphere of the moon. I don't think so, because I wouldn't be filming mosquitoes at 400,000 kilometers away, that's for sure. And there is that gas coming off of this unknown creature. There's absolutely no way. There's that yellow gas again. So it's a reaction. It could be a chemical reaction. They're spraying poison around the moon. That sort of makes sense. We've seen it being done here on Earth. They're already talking about spreading some kind of chemical. A couple of weeks or months back, there were colors in the sky, so they could be possibly terraforming or doing that for many years on the. Thanks for the support, everyone. I appreciate it. Let's sing about the trolls. See if we make them cry. Trolls, the man they suffering inside, they're so sad. Trolls, the man they suffering inside, they're so sad. Aliens are mining on the moon, yes they are up there. Doesn't matter cause disclosure's coming soon. Disclosure's coming